It is time. We have waited for alt season. We have waited for ETH to rally to all-time highs. We've waited for Alex Becker to be able to click his fingers and have market caps skyrocket by tens of millions, sometimes even hundreds of millions of dollars overnight. Because that is the season that we print the most gains. And in this video, not only am I officially announcing that season is back on, I'm going to show you proof of why, but I'm also going to give you 4 Becker tokens that are starting to fly, and Becker thinks there's a lot more juice left to go. Let's start with his pal, Ilio Trades, who Ilio Trades is one of the people who really put Becker onto new projects, got him linked up in the start, and seems to be ahead of him in a lot of the tokens that he joins. Ilio says, welcome to the first true bull run. The first bull run with Wall Street money. That's a lot of money to have inside of a small asset like crypto. The first one with no ceiling, unlimited funding. Never a straight line, but the destination is clear. We are going to infinity. And then our boy, Alex Becker, read this and in the comment had a highly intellectual post of infinity tweeze. Infinity. They think we're going so far into the stratosphere when it comes to price, and they've been right in the past. The environment right now, this is one of the most important things. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of this, but literally, if you need to know like, oh, I've invested in altcoins before, Becker's been wrong before, he's never been wrong when there's extreme greed in the market. When there is greed and extreme greed, whatever Becker says, whatever Becker does, will absolutely fly, unless they're a bundled token, which is, you're right if you're buying a bundled token, which Becker has promoted in the past, which means there's a lot of sell pressure and the token won't fly. But if it's not bundled, and the greed index is high, things are going to go absolutely crazy. And right now we're sitting at a 74 greed, which is extremely strong, especially coming off a couple of months here also in greed. We had a recent dip back, which sort of refreshed sentiment. But because we've been greedy for a couple of months in a row now, people are starting to get a little bit silly out there, which is where most of the money is made. And if we zoom in on alt season index, you can see we are crossing the halfway mark. We've literally crossed back into more alt season than Bitcoin season. And which way is this graph trending, guys? We are going north, back into the north chilly lands of altcoin season. You can see last time we were here, it was in December when we were printing 10, 15, 20x gains overnight. Alex Becker says, most people don't get this. It's how we make the big bucks. This is where most of the money is made, guys. During the 2020 bull, most altcoin narratives didn't even start until ETH had 3x'd its all-time high, which would, in this case, ETH would have to be $15,000 before a lot of the altcoin narratives start, such as RWA, AI, gaming. We'll go through those in a second. When they did, gaming, for example, shot up 10, 20 to 50x. And this did not happen until mid to late bull run. A lot of people are expecting it to happen literally right now. And there is a point to be made there because these tokens are starting to take off. And Becker even says, coming up, I'll show you in a second, you want to skate to where the puck is going, the Wayne Gretzky quote, and not be playing in ETH and ETH season. You want to get ahead of the season that we're in. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Because when ETH crossed its all-time high ×3, and then alt season came, tokens like Sandbox did an 80x, meaning you put $1,000 in, you get $80,000 out. And Becker says the same thing will happen this cycle. And we won't see the main party until we see a $5,000 US Ethereum ETH, and top alts have moved 2 to 3x. So that's like the Hyperliquids, and maybe even like the Solanas. BNB's been on a tear. I saw that recently over $800. So that's been doing well. But Becker's saying that these 70x insane gains are made in alt season, which is later in the bull market, which we're heading into right now. That's the whole exciting thing about this video. And so much so, guys, that literally the Trump brothers are calling for alt season. They're raising $1.5 billion war chest to invest in altcoins. And so on this channel, we're like, okay, which altcoins should we invest in so we can get all that money trickling down into our digital wallets? Well, it's a fantastic question. And on this channel, we like to find influencers like Alex Becker, people who can actually move markets because there's no technical analysis, there's no fundamental analysis. The only thing that is moving cryptos into the billions is which KOLs are promoting them. It's a whole lot of vaporware, it's a whole lot of hype, but if you're early enough, you can make insane amounts of money. And I'll say that about most things, even the stock market, it's very little fundamental analysis these days. But we don't have to get into that. What we need to talk about is Alex Becker's 71 index, which this was Alex Becker's 71 tokens that he is affiliated with or partnered with. However, this list is now 74 because we theorized a couple of weeks ago when we put this out that Becker would be partnered with up to 100 projects in this cycle, and already in a couple of weeks he's had 3 more projects hit his desk that he is signed onto. We're going to talk about a couple of those in this video, as well as a couple of older tokens that are also rumbling and moving. But we're able to see when Becker adds to his portfolio these new coins before he promotes them to his audience, because in our inner circle, which you can access in the description, we track his wallets and his social media, so we literally have X-ray vision into what is happening, and why it's so important that you listen up now, and why it's so important that you pay attention to what's going on now, because the fear and greed index, as I showed you, is in the red zone, and that is where these returns start to happen, where you do see those 15 to 30x gains in literally a week, sometimes even overnight. This was Altura when Alex Becker mentioned it on his YouTube channel right here. The fear and greed index was high, and it went absolutely crazy. I could show you 1,000 examples of Becker mentioning tokens like Altura in a non-greedy environment, a fearful environment, and do absolutely nothing. It might even go backwards. So because the market is heating up, now is the time to pay attention. And Benjamin Cowan says that it's going to keep being ETH season. ETH season means ETH is the one that's moving the most, and altcoins are going to lag for a couple of weeks, he says here. 1 to 2 more weeks, he thinks altcoins are going to actually be lagging and bleeding out compared to the price of ETH. So as ETH crosses all-time high, all the liquidity is sucked into that, all the normies and the mainstream come in and they see ETH going, and they're going to invest in what's the brightest big green candle, just like a moth to a flame, and ETH's going to continue to outperform alts, according to Benjamin Cowan. Becker, however, said, "Post it with respect, but skate to where the puck is going, not where it has been. You don't want to be buying ETH at the top of ETH season. You want to be buying ETH before it was ETH season. We want to be buying ETH at $2,000 while everyone else is buying Bitcoin, and Bitcoin doubled. Now we're in phase 2, which is Ethereum. Becker is saying you want to buy into the large caps, and then once they 2 to 3x, that's when it becomes alt season. However, there is a little bit of an asterisk there because we're going to be talking about AI tokens, which are all alt season tokens. He's saying getting into them now, there could be a couple more pullbacks, but there's going to be a lot more upside because these are the 10 to 100x potentials. Now, you may be saying, why are we looking at AI tokens? What is that narrative about? Well, Becker says AI is one of the biggest trends right now. You can see the search volume for AI ever since October 22, ChatGPT launch and the massive revolution. It has been nothing but up only, and we are at peak interest, but we're still only getting started. This is going to be the next 10, 20, 30 years of an absolute revolution, and Becker says a lot of that attention, especially in the back half of this year, will flow into the crypto world, and people will be looking at AI tokens to be able to invest in and see some of the upside from this massive new technology. In fact, Becker says there's a lot of really promising newish AI projects sitting at a $5 to $10 million market cap. Most of them will soon be 50 to 100 mil, which is a 10x, which if you put $1,000 in, you can get 10 grand out if you can find a 10x token, with a few busting multiple hundreds of millions. These are the ones that we're looking for. Imagine if we could write a 5 mil token to a 200 mil. That is, if we put enough money in there, life-changing gains. These buy points are where the legendary profits come from. So let's get into the 4 tokens that he spoke about. There's going to be a range of market caps in here. I'm going to show you exactly what Becker said about it. And I'm going to show you how powerful Becker's pull is once again, because like I said, in a bear market, when he mentions a token, it doesn't do anything. In a bull market, he can add tens of millions of dollars to the price overnight. He can 20x a token literally overnight because the market is hot. People are euphoric, people have profits and they want to roll them into new tokens. And therefore, if you can get in early enough, you can do extremely well. So this is Destra. Destra is currently sitting at 15 cents, spiked up here at 17 cents. And you can see this is only a 7-day graph here. It started down here at the low of about 11 to 12 cents. So that's about a 50%, a 55% gain from the low this week to the all-time high, which is solid, especially with the liquidity and the volume at $20 million. You can move a decent amount of money in there. And how long is it going to take you to get a 50% return in the stock market? I mean, probably 4 or 5 years. And Destra has always been Alex Becker's #1 AI play. He holds a very large bag of it. Crypto God John is also holding a very large bag of it, and they're going to continue to promote this token as the bull market continues. Desync is the first on-chain one-stop solution for all your DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure network, that stands for cloud and AI computing needs. And it has jumped recently for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Destra Network has just been listed on KuCoin. If you go to the top exchanges by trading volume, you can see KuCoin today is rated at number 9th biggest exchange in the world, trading $2 billion of volume today, which is incredible amount of money. And now you can buy desync on that centralized exchange, which is big news. Becker, however, has pumped this token even further because he has posted a response of I think it's a Dragon Ball Z character looking at a green screen of candles, obviously thinking Destra is going to go up because of it. Now, it wasn't just that. He's also featured Destra in his latest YouTube video. If I fast forward just a bit here it is, Destra at 13.9 cents before it pumped up to that 17-cent mark. And this one's an interesting one. I'm going to show you some more tokens that were featured in this video. But as I showed you, Becker now has 74 tokens that he's affiliated with. And it's really hard for him to have a YouTube video that features 35 tokens and have them all individually pump. He, I think, is starting to sense this because in this latest video, he only really featured, he says 11 here, but I think it was actually less than that. It's probably at least a strong feature, maybe 6 to 8 cryptos, and most of them did pump because he really just harnessed the power of his focus along with the massive tidal wave of a bull market behind him. So desync has been performing well. He does have a massive bag of it. The other thing, if we zoom right out, is it's far from all-time highs, and he's always said that desync will reclaim all-time highs. So we'll see how desync goes, but Becker is extremely bullish on it. Now, the next token you may have heard of as well. However, it's performed extremely well over the last month. If you can see the low down here, and I know you can't time these Pico lows to Pico tops, but it's good to see the potential that's in here. And even if you can get 50% of it, if you move with volume, you can do extremely well because we know that Becker's going to be promoting these tokens ahead of time, which is the whole game. And we know that mainstream and normies are coming. And the theory is, we don't know this for sure, is that they're going to want to start hunting out AI tokens because of the massive meta and that massive trend of AI, as I showed you with that search volume. Now, TaoBot's currently at 70 cents. It was down here recently on the 2nd of August, about 11 days ago, at 32 cents. That's more than 100% return from lows to highs. It's got decent volume, so you can move a good amount of money in and out. And it's got a 70 mil fully diluted, a 53 mil circulating, and it's up, I think, 15% on the day. So it really is getting some action and some movement thanks to none other than Alex Becker. This is Becker looking at TaoBot, and this was at a 47 mil market cap, 47 cents. Remember, I just showed you it's at 70 cents right now. So Becker is finding that power once again to be able to pump these tokens thanks to his videos and thanks to his Twitter. His reach is getting more and more powerful, and you can actually see meaningful returns. And as the market heats up more and more, which is what this whole video is about, you're going to see some crazy things if you can copy trade Alex Becker and front run his promotions. Now, he's talking about TaoBot, which is making the BitTensor ecosystem your playground with TaoBot. I believe it's a DEX on top of Tao, and Tao is basically one of the top AI tokens that Becker is saying is going to do really well. He says TaoBot is BitTensor, or Tao's, little brother because it's got a way smaller market cap where BitTensor is in the billions, Tao is in the tens of millions. He says it's just going to move with leverage. We're going to actually test that today. So TaoBot was up 14% today. If we have a look at what BitTensor is, it's up 7.5%. So you can see on this example, it is a 2 times leverage play on today's price action because the better Tao does, the better TaoBot does. I know a little bit confusing because the names are so similar, but you can see BitTensor has an $8 billion market cap, which makes it way less volatile. And TaoBot, because it's the DEX built on top, is going to follow that, but with leverage, which again, in a hot market is fantastic. But remember and be careful because when you're trading altcoins, especially when it's not full-fledged altcoin season, when BitTensor drops 10%, you can expect TaoBot to drop 20, 30%. It is a leverage play both on the upside and the downside of the volatility. And then we had a brand new token mentioned, and this is the stuff that we live for here on Across the Rubicon, because this is a crazy runner, guys, from 7 cents back here, 8 cents, even a little bit lower, a little bit 7 cents down here, which was last week, to 57 cents, topping out at 62 cents up here. So basically a nice clean 6x ROI if you can time it perfectly. It's at a 57 mil market cap, and it is a new Alex Becker partnership. Now, Becker, of course, owes his partnerships mentions on social media, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get ahead of these mentions so that his hundreds of thousands of people who go watch his videos and buy these tokens, we can literally front run and get early entries. And then if you want, just sell when the token does a 2.5x like it did here. Here's a $20 million market cap. Graph AI is now at a $60 million market cap. So that's a 3x return on your money if you got in exactly when he made that video. But the problem is there's going to be people running to it, and you're probably going to get in at a 35 cent as the price goes up. However, this is what we do in our inner circle because we saw, guys, we have 40 plus Alex Becker wallets, and we saw Graph AI go into his wallet, and we alerted our inner circle community. Guys, Becker has a brand new project. We're going to add it to our Becker 71 list. He's actually got 2 new projects. The other one I'm going to make in another video this week. Of course, our inner circle will know what that other one is already. But our inner circle got alerted literally here, August 9th at 10:20 p.m. when the price was before he made that YouTube video. You can literally get in before the YouTube video goes out and therefore write up that lovely 3x return because you're literally trading with X-ray vision. And Graph AI is one of his new tokens, of course. They say they deliver real-time blockchain intelligence to power on-chain AI agents integrating RWA. So they're an AI and RWA middle of the Venn diagram play, which is obviously worked really well because that is now at a $60 million market cap. And that takes us to another token that has been performing really well because I believe it's a really strong token. This one is actually a partner with this channel as well across the Rubicon. It's Vertical AI. And you can see over the last 7 days, it's performed extremely well. We've been talking about this one for a while because they've been a really good long-term partner of the channel. And it's been outperforming most of Alex Becker's plays, up 170% over the last month. And you can see since Becker's been mentioning it directly recently and the market's really heated up, you can get some really cool outsized plays, like a nice 50% pump very, very quickly. And this is because Alex Becker is going to make an AI coin video tomorrow, and he's saying he's about to ruin everyone's AI entries because everyone's going to follow his videos, and these token prices are going to go crazy, going to go through the roof, and everyone's going to have to buy in for higher prices because he is making public what his allocations are. And in the comments, I'm going to show you a couple more at the end of this video too, people are guessing what is going to be in that video, and he's replying as the Morty meme, which he pumped Cheyenne, a meme coin, with his one meme post by like 12x in like 2 weeks. And so he's been using this meme to basically be like, yes, you're right, this is one of my tokens that I'm going to be talking about. And he's talking about Vert AI. And of course, Vert AI are the no-code platform for AI model fine-tuning. Train, deploy, and monetize AI models effortlessly through our integrated marketplace. These guys have been building throughout the bear market, and it is starting to pay off, and it's starting to look really good, and it's starting to look like one of Becker's front-running tokens. The all-time high here is just under $1, and you can see right now we're sitting at 38 cents. Now, while everyone's guessing what's going to be in Alex Becker's video, our inner circle literally knows, because have a look at this, guys. I'm over here on AliExpress right now, and I've got a new plugin, and it's called the Michael Saylor plugin, which these glasses right here, these glasses I'm going to show you in a second, they're $221 on AliExpress, which is a little bit pricey for what they are, but it's kind of a cool thing I'm going to show you. This here, $38,000, $39,000 is how much $221 is going to be in 20 years from now, and if you just invest it in Bitcoin. So it's a really cool plugin that I use. However, why I'm on this app over here is because there's these glasses, and it's obviously not written in English here, that you buy with this deck of cards. And what it allows you to do with the light spectrum is actually see through the back of the card. So you invite your friends around for poker night, and you can put these glasses on, and you can see what everybody has just by wearing these unassuming looking glasses. And I show you this is because this is what we do for Alex Becker's wallets, and not just Alex Becker, but all the top influencers in crypto. We literally have 40 plus known Alex Becker wallets tracking tens of millions of dollars and looking when new transfers and new tokens arrive in any of his wallet. And we can also see exactly how much allocation he's getting, and therefore the likeliness that he's going to want to push that token hard. And of course, you can do this all yourself. You can find it's all public information on the blockchain if you know what you're looking for, but we do it all for you in our inner circle. And not just that, we have so many features to help you move up the news cycle, because if you're late to a token, it can literally be the difference between a 5x and losing money, being exit liquidity. We've just built in a brand new feature that shows you when any of the strong KOLs, like key opinion leaders like Alex Becker, Crypto God John, even someone like Elon Musk or Andrew Tate or Elio Trades, follow a new person on Twitter, because a lot of people, including Elio Trades, want to keep his new partnerships hush-hush until he promotes it on his social media, because he wants to be the one who impacts the price chart. But we're trying to unravel that plan of his. And one of the easiest ways that we've found in the past to do this, but we haven't had this feature in our inner circle until this week, is to see which new accounts he starts to follow on Twitter and therefore investigate those tokens before we even see any movements into his wallet. And like I showed you, this is what allowed us to get into Graph before it did a 3x and before Becker went public with this information. This allowed us to get into Vert AI at a 10.9x multiple. This allowed us to get into Gray at a 42x multiple, which is absolutely absurd. And honestly, credit to our community, because our community finds most of these tokens. Yes, we track their wallets. Yes, we track their social media, and we push you notifications when things happen. But we have so many people in our community, literally 1,000+ people in our community out there hunting for clues and sharing it with the rest of us. Just like in our meme coin submission group, this guy found the boss token before it went on and did a 73.5x literally this week. If you're looking for token discovery mechanisms before they go absolutely nuclear, come and get the buy and sell notifications for new hot rising tokens from the best traders in the world and literally the biggest influencers in the world who make this a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, even this week, we've been pulling these tweets, which don't, because a lot of them are reply tweets. They don't get a lot of views on Twitter, but we'll ping you when John talks about desync at 11 cents before it pushes onto 17 cents. Or we'll show you when Alex Becker has new partnership, like the one we talked about in this video, Graph AI, and of course this other one, which I'll be talking publicly about this week. And of course, the thing I hate about our inner circle is everyone joins at the top of the cycle. This is reploy. And in January, like, we printed so many crazy returns in December. It was amazing. Everyone was loving it. And then what happened in January is when the market sort of peaked and cooled off. And we saw this with reploy, where our inner circle caught reploy. We had crypto go, John, something like an 11 million market cap right here. And it went on to do a $140 million market cap, a crazy 10x return. And this was just after Pinlink went and did like something like a 15x return. And the money was just literally falling from the sky, because you want to be getting into these tokens. You want to be getting these alerts while the tokens are still young and while the market is in its infant stage of the bull cycle. We're going to have 90% of people join once again at the top of the cycle. And of course, that's when things go down and opportunities start to dry up. So if you've been watching my videos and you've been considering joining for a while, I highly urge you to have some sense and join not at the top of the cycle. Join as early as possible and you'll get access to way more opportunities. The link to this, guys, is in the description below. Now, Alex Becker, once again, is making an AI video tomorrow. Now, not only has he mentioned that Vert AI is likely to be in there, he's also brought up a couple of old tokens, like his old friend Pal, which I think Pal hit something like a $750 million market cap. Then they messed up, had a little whoopsie, and it's been sort of off the radar a while. And now, although it's never been my favorite token, Alex Becker has given it the Morty, you're right, little symbol below the tweet about Pal. The other token that he's done this with is David ETH said Astra, and Becker did the Morty symbol. Yes, Astra is, I don't know if it's likely to be included, but it shows you that he is, yes, partnershiped and affiliated with Astra, as we know, because we track his wallets and we have a list of literally 74 tokens he's affiliated with. But I'm going to leave you with this. This, once again, guys, is Altura. This is absolute monumental skyrocket in price. I remember when it happened because this was featured in one Alex Becker video at the peak of the last bull run when everything was hot and everything was crazy. And I call these tokens late runners because yes, we may hold something like desync. If I go back to the desync chart all the way here, it's at 150 mil market cap. Maybe we'll hit a 500 mil market cap, but if we've got 5 grand in there, we're going to come out with 15 grand. Fantastic. Nothing that's going to monumentally impact anyone's life. But what I sense is going to happen, and I've said it here before, is you're going to make, say, 10 grand off something like desync. The market's going to be hot. People are going to be euphoric, and you're going to be like, all right, Becker, he was right with desync. What's his next token? Becker token number 87 comes on the market. You get the alert because you're part of the inner circle. And we're like, okay, this is the next Altura. Now, Becker is, yes, affiliated with Altura, but he hasn't got a allocation for a while, so I don't imagine that he's going to be mentioning Altura. This is just an example of one that he was strongly affiliated with in the last cycle that he had a massive impact on. And so I'm looking for this season's Altura to take that 15 grand from desync, because I think what a lot of people are going to do, and please make your own decisions, take your own risks. I don't have to tell you guys are all adults, I hope. What people are going to do is they're going to take their 15 grand of profit from something like desync, be like, Becker, you were right the last time. What's the next Altura? He's going to say it's insert token 78. Everyone's going to take their 15 grand out of desync, put it into that new token, and it's going to absolutely fly. Now, it's only going to fly for a very short amount of time, and most people are going to lose that 15 grand on the downside. But if you're smart, you're going to get in early and you're going to 5 or 6x that 15 grand. And now you're going to come away from the bull market with 90 or 100 grand if you time it right. And this is what I want you to look out for, is when the market is hot, there's going to be some crazy runners. Don't risk more money than you can afford to lose. But the longer the market goes on, the more euphoric the market gets, the crazier the opportunities. So stay focused, lock in, and let's make some money.